Welcome back to Bradios.
Yeah.
We're killing it. We're fudge men. We're packing fudge, man.
This game is so fucking long, dude.
You guys like fudge?
We've already got over 10 hours on this game. We're on the third dungeon.
Yeah, man.
I'm pretty sure this is going to easily become the longest Digi Bros series.
It'll probably end up 40 hours or so.
Sad fact, Earthbound would have become the new longest show. It was either 52 or 53 episodes, so it would have just barely edged out Ocarina of Time. Dark Souls couldn't edge it out, but Earthbound would have, but it's deleted.
It's
so.
really just lost in the ether. You couldn't just go into your trash can and like find it.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Shit's
What?
God.
I had to make room on my computer. Why would I leave it in my trash can? That's not room on your computer. And the file was corrupted on the fucking hard drive, so it's gone.
Bro, that's fucked.
That's what happens when you run a Let's Play series. I mean, that's why
Shit happens.
the biggest hurdle with the Let's Play is that when you make that many videos, there are going to be ones that are fucked up.
Sometimes they just happen to be the thrilling conclusion to an epic series.
I wouldn't call it thrilling.
Yeah.
It was mostly us just going, well, we're here. We're near the end.
Yeah.
It's happening. I'd say the last episode was pretty cool because the final battle with Gygus is like 40 minutes long.
Gygus.
Oh,
he's a Gygus.
And it has like a lot of parts to it, and it's pretty cool. But, yeah, it's unfortunate that it's lost. That's unfortunate.
That sucks.
So anyway, we're gonna finish off our Bribnybin story, I guess.
Bronycon.
So on Sunday, we went in really late because we were all like, tired and we had no obligation to be there. Me and Nate had both been like, what if we just don't go to the con and we just hang out and then we can leave early because, Nate was thinking, I have to drive 8 hours to get home. And we were thinking, we gotta drive 5 hours to get home. But, we had to go pick up Tom anyways because he came with them. And Ben wanted to go back to the con, so we were like, all right, whatever. So we went back, and we all hung out, and we did we did a comic circle, something we did last year, which is where you take a bunch of pieces of paper, and you fold them into 4 quadrants, and then each person chooses one quadrant and draws a picture in it. Like, you choose whichever quadrant you want, and you draw a panel for a comic, and then after 5 minutes, we pass them around, and everyone tries to fill in another panel until you have a full comic. So,
Which is fucking awesome, by the way. It's one of the coolest things we do at Bronycon.
Yeah, it's really
Which
fun.
I remembered, I was like, dude, yes, that is like one of the coolest things.
Yeah, Ben has a stack
Especially
of like
when we're with artists like
something.
Ben, we're like,
Yeah.
Ben's panels are always fucking awesome looking, and it's just
Yeah,
like,
well,
wow,
because
these
originally
artists having fun.
when we did it last year, it was originally Ben and like just like artist people he knew, and like Munchie and other people who can actually draw. We're doing it together, and then I was like, I want to get in on it, so we all jumped in.
I was in on it the first year.
And then this year we had more people, fewer of them artists, but more of them comedians. So like Nate and Jesse can't draw, but their panels were fucking hilarious, so it was worth it. So we got all these people together and we all drew, and that was a lot of fun. And then we all went to the dealer's room and then to Five Guys. And when we were at Five Guys, to the point where it was like, okay, this has to end. We got to get the fuck out of here. Like, everything was winding down. We ate. We were like, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
So we got everybody organized and we took off. And then it was also on that day that we figured out, Gibbon could stay with the with Tinker and Pen Name. So I mean, that was the best part. That like, it's a good thing we went back to the con because we found people who could take Gibbon and he didn't have to wait in an airport all night.
Definitely pretty essential shit.
Yeah, so then we took off. Me and Victor took a fucking 5-hour drive home, which took us on a completely different route from where we've ever been before. That was interesting.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It
was a much more enjoyable drive, though. Even though it was longer, it was just like...
It wasn't
so chill.
It was shorter than the drive back from Otakon because of the traffic on that drive. This one was like... It was slower. Like, The actual stretch of road was shorter, but most of it went through towns, so we had to drive slower, and there was a lot of stoplights. But it was a very
wicked cool,
relaxed and like much better scenery.
You didn't feel like someone was gonna randomly stop and then everyone dies.
Right.
You didn't feel like you were at risk of.
Yeah, there was never a
traffic.
The only traffic was stopping at traffic lights. There was never a single traffic jam.
Which I am all about.
Right.
There was just no one else around most
But
of
it was
the time.
really difficult for me to stay awake for that whole drive, to try to help, because I could tell you were tired, and I was super tired.
Yes.
So I was like, I gotta at least stay awake for Victor, but that was a difficult fucking task, especially when it got dark. And then it was just like put me to fucking bed. And you know what the fucked up irony of that is?
What?
That whole time I was like dying tired. Came home and couldn't get to sleep.
Yeah, of course. I stayed up till like 3 a.m.
I stayed up till like, I think 5 a.m.
Kicked everyone out and was like, all right, now I can chill alone for a while.
Right. Well, like I was, talking to people online for just like the first hour or two, until like the T-Bab got home and everything. And then I went to bed and just laid there for like hours and was like, even though my body is exhausted, like I mentally am like trying to run through all the checks of like what am I gonna be doing now that I'm back, like, all right, let's get back in the mindset of I'm home, I've got plans, I've got shit to do, you know.
You gotta catch up on all the shit you were doing before. That's one thing that has bothered me about these cons, is that it just really fucks up like my actual real life productivity.
Right. Well,
where it's just like anything that I was getting into before, it's just like I really don't give a shit about anymore by the time I'm home.
I've talked about that a lot, about how that's happened to me at previous years, but in the last 2 years I've gotten way better
like,
about.
I don't feel like dealing with these same fucking people again and finishing these fucking projects I don't care about.
Yeah, that would definitely be a pain, but like for me, because in previous years, before last year's Otakon and Bronycon, which last year they were only a week apart, so it was like one crazy week of shit that we were doing. But in previous years I always had that problem, but a big part of it is that it felt like such a different experience, right? Like you go to this con, you're hanging out with different people, you're in a different place, everything's new and exciting, and then you come home and it's like you forgot what you were up to, you know? But in the last 2 years, because going to conventions has gotten so normal, because it's always the same place we go to. We always go to Otakon and Bronycon. They're always in the Baltimore Convention Center. I know Maryland well enough now that I know my way around. I know where all the stores are. I know where to go. I know even the place where our hotel is always the same area, so I know that area. And like, so for me, it's no longer like going somewhere new and doing something exciting. It's more like, whatever. I went to hang out with my friends at the con,
nice time.
And then I can come home.
We got out of fucking Virginia Beach for a little bit.
Right. Like when we came home from Otakon, I pretty much immediately got to work on something. Like I made a video like right afterwards. And then with Bronycon, I would have started getting back to work today, but I have been so fucking exhausted that I slept almost like I had
one of those days where I was like, I'm just gonna chill and do nothing today and like feel good about it. And I was just like, but now I just feel nervous and shitty and tired, and doing nothing is killing me. I can't relax like that.
I just kept passing out over and over again. Like I kept getting up, starting to do something, and then passing out because I was so fucking exhausted.
I was like, whatever.
I had this.
Rearrange my fucking room.
I had this one really weird nightmare.
Fix my fucking feng shui.
I had this dream. Because I passed out the second time I passed out, I was watching Game Grumps, and I passed out, and then I had this dream where for some reason me and you were hanging out with Aaron and Dan, but we were like fanboys, right? And they were like kind of like tenuous, like they were just kind of like hanging out because I guess they kind of knew that we were other like YouTubers or something.
I see.
And we were at this like a comic store or something like that. It was like some like strip mall. Like we were like. Just for some reason we went into this strip mall, and I have a tendency in my dreams to like visit like weird little random comic stores. Like most of my dreams take place in stores, usually in stores I wish were real.
From your entire childhood. It was always in the mall.
Always in the mall or Otakon or but never like the real Otakon. Always like some weird. Which I don't have those anymore because I know Otakon so well that it no longer feels like a unique place. So my dreams don't usually take place in Otakon. They usually take place in like small weird stores and like strip malls and shit. But so we're at some strip mall, we go into this like comic store and there's like a bunch of arcade machines set up in there, and we're like, whoa, dude, arcade machines. And like, I'm really excited, and I tell you, Victor, run out to the car and grab the microphone and the camera and let's film a let's play with the Game Grumps on the machines. And like, they both seemed like they were kind of like ugh about it, like they didn't want to do it, but I was like, no, man, no, it'll be fun. But like, for some reason you're taking forever, and like you come back in and you don't have anything. You're like, I couldn't find it, and I'm like, what? Go look again, right? And I'm getting all nervous, and the Game Grumps are just like really like, fucking hanging out with these fucking douchebags. I'm like, come on, man, come on. And then like, I finally run out to the car. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm looking, and then like the Game Grumps leave the store, and they like start getting into like their car or whatever.
I think they're so fucking cool.
And then like.
Can't hang out with us losers.
I go running up to them, and I'm trying to be like, hey guys, man, I'm sorry about that. Like, I'm sorry I was trying to do that back there. You know, it seems like a kind of a dick move. I was
just
trying
had
to,
a nightmare about the Game Grumps not liking you.
I was like, yeah, you know, I'm sorry I tried to like rope you into something, and they literally break into a sprint and run away from me and get in their car and drive away.
That's so bad.
And then I woke up, and I was so mad at the Game Grumps.
You had a nightmare about the Game Grumps.
I was so mad at the Game
Not
Grumps.
wanting to be your friend.
Because the thing is, I had put on, like, I had put the, like,
you officially watched too much fucking
I had put the latest
Grumps.
4 episodes of their Mario playthrough into, like, the watch later playlist, thinking it would just play through once, but it kept repeating. And I kept, like, waking up at the same moment and, like, realizing that the whole playlist had gone through and that I was waking up at, like, the same part over and over again. I was like, what the fuck? And then, like, yeah, I was so mad after waking up that I turned it off, and I was like, I don't need to watch any Game Grumps for the rest of the day. Like, I feel terrible.
Might have watched a little too much Game Grumps.
Well, it was just funny because, like, in the dream, I felt like they were being assholes, but once I woke up, it was really clear that I was the asshole for trying to drag them into, like, I was basically using them. You know, I was like, oh, hey, I've got the Game Grumps. I'm going to put them in my video.
Now you're an
you
asshole.
know?
Thought you just wanted to be their friend.
Yeah, but, like, we go to an arcade, like, and I immediately want them to be in my video.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, yeah, let's get a camera and record it. We'll record the Game Grumps. And, like, clearly they don't want to, you know, and I'm trying to force it, which,
fuck, found a boss key, bitch.
So I guess that was a dream about the worst case scenario if I ever met Aaron and Dick. Because I could totally see, like, that scenario happening, like, if you were like a fan who was kind of cool, but then you started pushing it, and they're both the kind of guy who'd be like, okay, buddy, you know, like, Aaron is from what I've heard, Aaron is very like, you know, he's a little bit elitist.
No.
Like he, you know, he hangs out with people who are like animators and stuff, but he's not really the type to just like hang out with random people he doesn't know, you know, so like. That would definitely be like if you were trying to fucking push something like that, they'd be like, okay, buddy, get the fuck out.
It's kind of similar when you go to the Brony stuff, and it's like you don't see like the big famous musicians hanging out anywhere a lot of the time.
Really.
Like you don't see the living Tombstone. Exactly, they get swarmed. They don't want to deal with people.
Tombstone does not hang out in the main like halls and shit. Some people, I mean, I'm sure like Delancey probably doesn't walk the hallways too much. Yeah, exactly. You know? M.A. Larson will walk the hallways. He doesn't care because you know he's just like, hey, whatever. I'm M.A. Larson.
You know, he's M.A. Larson. He's not. He's not like a voice actress or something.
Yeah, he's more of like a bro. And so, yeah, but anyway, I had that weird nightmare today, and I was like, yeah, that was awkward. And then I slept all fucking day. I just kept going back to sleep. I only woke up a couple hours ago. And started playing with you.
Sweet.
And it was really funny because all day I was on Twitter looking at people coming back from Bronycon. And as I mentioned earlier, everyone else is like, PostCon Depression. Oh man, it sucks to be home. Yeah. I wish I could go back.
That PostCon Depression feeling, and I'm just like, I've been to so many cons. Like it's just, I don't feel that way anymore.
I felt it last year because I hung out with those guys for the first time, and like. It was similar to when I went to the Philippines, right? Because the reason I'm friends with people online is that they're people who I have a really easy time talking to about the stuff I care about, you know? Like, when me and Ghost Lightning hung out, it was, like, we had all these really deep intellectual conversations. And, like, you know, we'd talk about writing, we'd talk about philosophy, just, like, all kinds of stuff like that. Or just anime. And then, like, I came home, and immediately realized that there was nobody at home I could have those conversations with.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you don't know enough about the subjects at hand to like have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm a dipshit loser.
there was a day, the moment I distinctly remember the moment it sunk in that like I was feeling sort of culture shock from coming back, because you know I'd been there for a whole month, and it was like a day or two after I came back, we all went to a pizza place, and I was like singing out loud.
Yeah.
And Dad was like, stop. Like, he was like all embarrassed and stuff because I kept singing.
Yeah.
And like, because me and Ghost Lightning, the whole time I was there, we kept singing Steely Dan together.
Yeah.
Like, every day. We'd go out, we'd go eat somewhere, we'd fucking sing Steely Dan and shit. And then Dad was all like embarrassed about it. And I was like,
Aww.
yeah, just kind of, it just brought me back to reality. Because like, you know, back then I was extremely shy, and I didn't like to be out in public and like to like draw attention to myself. Like I always tried to hide, like sort of in the background in public situations, and so like singing out in public was different for me, but it was something I did with Ghost Lightning, you know.
Yeah.
And then I came home and just didn't have anyone to do that with again, you know, because Dad's like, oh, stop, and I was just like, this is not the same, you know. And so I had a similar feeling with, like, Bronycon, where it's like, you know, my friend, especially last year, because my friends at home had all, like, started working and stuff and weren't really, you know, talking about the kind of stuff I was interested in. Like, it was when Donson and Mike were, like, nothing but cars.
Yeah.
All they cared about was cars because they started working at a dealership.
All cars all the time.
You know, and, like, no one was super keeping up with anime or anything, and, like, no one, I can't talk about my job to any of my offline friends because they don't get it, you know, like the particulars of the job. The main basis of why the Horseshoe Crew are all friends is that we all do the same thing. We all work for Patreon. We all, you know, do YouTube videos, have similar audiences and similar mindsets, which is why we're all like good pals. And so like hanging out with them for the first time, it was like, man, I really can't talk to people like this at home, you know? But then the second time, it's like, what am I talking about? I talk to these people every day at home. You know? It's just now they're in person. And, like, yeah, we were always talking about how, like, if we all lived together, it would be cool because we could do stuff together. But if you meet at a con, you're not going to get anything done. You know, we're not there to fucking make videos. We're there to hang out. So, yeah. So this time it was just whatever. Came home. I wanted to fucking work on projects again. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Digi Bros.
Oh, shit!